Welcome to this quick start video for Unit 3 featuring variables. Here's what we'll cover. We'll introduce the learning goals and computer science concepts, call your attention to some key preparation tasks, and summarize each lesson's main activity. Now, if you have the Unit 3 materials open as you listen, you can pause this video at any point to look at them in more detail. During this unit, students will understand what variables are and why and when to use variables in a program. They'll learn how to create a variable, set the initial value of the variable, and change the value of the variable. Now that includes using basic math operations to add, subtract, multiply, and divide variable values. They'll learn to create clear, meaningful variable names and apply their new knowledge and skills to create a unique program that uses variables as an integral part of their project. Now, as computer programs process and store information, some of that data has a value that's constant, and other data values might change. So for example, a player's score in a game program would be something that would change. Now, similar to how lockers hold students' belongings, variables are containers for storing data that can change as the program runs. And the program tells the computer when to look for the variable and what to look for. Now, the type of data depends on the type of variable. So number variables hold numeric data. So for example, the year, temperature, or degree of acceleration. String variables hold a string of alphanumeric characters such as a person's name, a password, or the day of the week. A Boolean variable has only two values, true or false. So for example, you might have certain things that happen only when a variable called game over is false. A sprite variable is a special type that represents a single dot on the microbit screen, and it holds two separate values for the row and the column of the dot's location. And finally, an array is another special type of variable that holds a list of items. So this unit focuses on coding with number and string variables. So your preparation includes typical steps at the unit level of reviewing the materials and practicing all of the activities, deciding how you're going to pair students for the unplugged activity, and then printing the exit tickets for lesson A, printing the quizzes and having the devices ready for the coding activities in lesson B, and then getting ready for all the materials for the project in lesson C. Now in lesson A, the unplugged activity has students working in pairs or groups of 3, playing rock, paper, scissors to keep track of how many times each player wins and how many times the players tie. And then you'll lead a discussion about which parts of their score sheet represent constants and which represent variables. Now in lesson B, you'll follow the step-by-step instructions and screenshots to lead the activity to code the microbit to track and display the score while playing rock, paper, scissors. Now you'll use 3 separate variables to track each player's wins and the number of ties, and simple math operations to display the total number of rounds played. Now in lesson C, the project is to code a microbit program that counts something using variables to track and store input values and math operations to provide output in some visual and useful way. So for example, a top that counts the number of revolutions, a wallet that tracks dollars coming in or out, or even a baseball counter that tracks pitches and strikes. Lots of different neat ideas for students to come up with. And that's it. Wishing you and your students a great time learning to code with variables and making creative projects.